This is 3.2 aggression and in the interview.
Question 1. Can you define aggression?
Physical or verbal behavior with intent to cause harm and is always directed towards an individual that you are facing. The goal with intent to harm or injure the opposing individual.
Okay, question 2. Is there a difference in aggression and being aggressive?
Aggression is a behavior followed up by an action with negative intent. Aggression involves harm, therefore being verbally abusive is also aggression. Hitting an opponent in aggression is aggression, but hitting a wall or punching the floor is in anger is not aggression, as it is not directed towards another person.
Okay, what are the types of aggression?
Hostile aggression is harm caused directed towards another individual with intent to gain a competitive advantage, but outside the rules of the game. Hostile aggression can be caused by built-up anger from in the game and is a reaction to an individual's emotional situation. For example, if a player that is guarding you is doing lots of little things throughout the game that are annoying, can lead to aggressive behavior. Instrumental aggression involves achieving a competitive goal through harmful or violent means, but within the intent for a non-harmful outcome. It is a calculated play by the player, but is not in the rules of the game. Harm to the individual can happen, but that is not the intent. For example, a player going up for a layup in basketball and a person coming up from behind them and pulling their arms down with the competitive advantage gained by them not getting the shot up and making the easy layup, but is not within the rules of the game and is aggressive. The last type of aggression is called assertion, and that is playing within the rules of the game with no intention to harm the opponent with the play at very high intensity. This can lead to harm. The ability for an athlete to play in an assertive style means that they are intimidating, as no one wants to come up against players that play at this high intensity for long periods of time. For example, being physical with the player you are guarding and playing at a relentless pace, working at 100% the whole game requires self-control, but allows for a great advantage as it is mentally draining and physically demoralizing for the other opponent.
What impact does the officiating have on the game in terms of aggression?
The referees have an important role of assessing the actions of the players, whether they are within the rules of the game or not. The nature of sport shows us that it is important that acts of aggression can be interpreted differently depending on the nature of sport or the official making the decision. For example, someone that plays a physical sport with that goes around the intent of actually harming someone, like a boxer, they will intentionally harm people, but that is within the rules of the sport, and this is known as sanctioned aggression.
What is the role of the coach and how does this affect the players?
The coach has the ability to see his players and how others are affecting their play. They can notice if they're getting frustrated and sub them out of the game to avoid them being affected negatively by other players. They can also control their team and tell them that they are getting into a style of play that can lead to you dropping down in performance level, such as a team purposely targeting other players or being overly aggressive to spark aggressive play by you to get you in trouble, such as maybe getting into a fight, getting players sent off, red carded, and they can spot that and stop it from happening before it can even reach there, and they can talk to the officials, to the referees, so they can notify them about any actions that could happen and stop them from going on.
Is there anything the players do that affects their aggression?
Some more experienced players performing at a high level may be able to understand their personality and how they are affected by different situations. For example, if an opposing player is purposely trying to make them frustrated and get off of their game, they're able to control their emotion and stay stable by removing themselves from the situation or isolating themselves to remain calm so they can continue to perform at a high level.
Can you name some causes of aggression?
In high intensity games at high level performance, players have a greater pressure to win as they are in competition. This is high level competition, as the importance of each game is higher than any other, as they are trying to become the best team and win as many games as possible. This has a greater impact on high level athletes and elite athletes, as they are very passionate and care about winning much more than any other people. This can cause aggression in the form of frustration with an individual or team performance. When the team may be coming under adversity or perhaps performing not up to their standards, they can become frustrated and maybe with the refs or just with each other, get in arguments and lower their whole performance level and completely take themselves out of the game instead of staying strong and working hard to get back into it like they should. However, you can also be in disagreement with the referees. They may be making biased or unfair decisions, and that can make you frustrated as players and coaches and fans and people watching the game, as it's not giving you a fair chance to win. Some athletes may retaliate negatively towards other individuals' actions. For example, in basketball, an individual may retaliate in anger to get back at another player that is trying to spark anger in them. They may retaliate and fight back, maybe punch, hit, or they have to be restrained by their teammates, as they want to let them know that it isn't acceptable. If a basketball player went up for a layup or a shot and someone else tried to foul them in an unsportsmanlike manner, this could have caused them harm, and this could cause the other teammates to come and protect them and get on be on their back so they can let them know that the other players on the other team that it isn't acceptable to do this kind of behaviour. Rivalry can also cause aggression between particular players or particular teams. Even a regular season game elevates how much this means to the players and the teams, as it is important for them to win or outperform the other players. This can cause aggression through physical play, leading to players becoming heated, as the high intensity is very high throughout the entire game. This can lead to unsportsmanlike play, as for example, rival opponents against each other in football may lead to an illegal challenge, as they don't care about the outcome, they just care about being a better and outperforming the other player and showing them up.
Can you explain some of the theories behind aggression?
Instinct or trait theory suggests that genetic traits passed down that are unchanging no matter the situation the person is in. Therefore, this can be predicted. It states that individuals exhibit aggression, and it is based on their instincts and survival instincts. Anything threatening the person will directly cause anger and aggression. And once it's built up, it needs to be let off in forms of retaliation to release this anger and calm down. For example, if someone challenges you poorly, you may hit them or punch them to retaliate and release that anger. Another theory is the social learning theory, and this is observational learning that leads to aggressive behavior when observed from other people. For example, role models or significant figures, if you see them participate in aggressive behavior, this will have a greater impact on an individual, as people look up to them and can make people believe that it is okay and acceptable to do these sort of things, especially when they get away with it. For example, aspiring rugby players, such as young children or teenagers, may see pros get away with an illegal aggressive act, and they are more likely to do this themselves if they see them gaining an advantage and get away with it.
What are the flaws with these theories?
Instinct theory suggests that your aggression level is constant and predictable, but it is proved that the likelihood of aggression increases during sports. So, no, and so aggressive, defined aggressive traits have not really been proven to actually exist. So this can be shown in so aggressive traits or attributes that are shown in sporting events are not readily shown in daily social encounters and is often learnt from culture and your environment. In social learning theory, people do not always copy what is shown to them and what they see, as you understand what is right and wrong. You can also copy good sportsmanship just as much as bad behavior. Humans have free will, and we can understand that what we want to copy or not, and that is your choice as an individual.
Does the environment have any effect on aggression?
The aggression cue theory states that an environmental cue leads to an increased arousal level. This can create a readiness for aggression. If there is an aggressive cue, this increases the chance for aggression to occur, but the absence of this will decrease the chance of aggression occurring.
Can goals have an impact on aggression?
Aggression can occur when an individual's goal they are motivated to achieve is blocked. This can cause frustration in the individual and can cause an aggressive act. If it is successful, this will relieve their frustration. If it fails and a punishment is given to the individual, this will cause more frustration to occur. This relates to the interactionist theory, as the environment triggers an underlying aggressive personality trait. Some problems with this is that it states that it will always cause aggression when frustration occurs and does not account for coping strategies to deal with feelings or frustration.
Can coaches use these theories to help players?
By knowing the stimuli of these theories, they can that can lead towards frustration and aggressive play. They can spot a cue and stop it before it happens. Therefore, a coach can sub out a player or in a timeout talk to them and calm them down so it will not lead to aggression. Another thing they can do is talk to a parent or maybe get their parent at a halftime or in end of a quarter to come and talk to them and calm them down and understand that and sort out the situation.
Name some strategies to reduce the effects of aggression.
So players can distance themselves from the situation until they calm down and are ready to return into the game. You can practice mentally blocking out a player or ref that is causing you to be frustrated with bad calls or little annoyances. You can mentally rehearse to remember that a situation with aggressive play will lead to a punishment, and by knowing this, you always try to pull yourself out of the situation so you can stay in the game and continue to perform at a high level, where other individuals will just get fouls or kicked out of the game, like a red card or an ejection. And you can also positive self-talk. Use positive self-talk to motivate you to play well and block out any aggressive thoughts, so you can continue to perform. The players can be told by a coach to distance themselves from a player or in the game by guarding someone else or subbing them out for a short period of time until they're calmed down. A family member or spectator could talk to them at half time to motivate them to play well and calm down so you can win the game.